For the ship activity we need only look at the daytime photographs produced by one-armed Billy Meyer well before the age of personal computers, and without financial resources or assistance, as well as the independent witness accounts of people who have been in the vicinity of the center in Switzerland and those involved in Meyer's work. You can read about the evidence and scientific analysis of the photos and other evidence at Michael Horn's website. Guido Moosbrugger's And Still They Fly is essential reading for learning about the evidence and the more personal witness accounts. Ishwish-Pathal lists the U.S. President George W. Bush, Great Britain's Prime Minister, Tony Blair, and Israel's Prime Minister, Ariel Sharon among the most dangerous terrorists threatening the world now. He says that the guilt for Iraq is carried by them. It is also carried by all their supporters and all those who pull on the same cord. He said that together with the open terrorist organizations, like Al-Qaeda, these state-powerful terrorists will cause such trouble on earth like has never been since time immemorial. They will achieve this with the help of their executives, the secret services and the military. But rationality on this earth can prevail. George Bush, Tony Blair and Ariel Sharon and their fanatical followers must be freed from their positions, and not be replaced by the same kind of warmongers, if we are to prevent such a worldwide catastrophe breaking out over the earth and humanity. In rationality we must stand together as one and throw the state-powerful criminals from their positions and replace them with peace-loving, worthy, respectful, righteous powers. If this does not happen, then there will be an evil end. Scroll to bottom of this article for context of excerpts from Patha. In O.M. Canon 31, the prophet Enoch reports on the comings and the goings of the Ishwish of his time, 308 years before the time of the prophet Emmanuel. The Ishwish and his helpers live on a place strange to earth, from where he watches over the earth and the humankind, and from where he all his watchers appear in singing lights, so therefore are suspended through the air. And so the Ishwish appears from any place coming through the air alone or with his assembled host, and therefore in the entire strength of his authority, and the heaven was covered with the radiating light ships, that without snails are there, flying, singing in the air. While we should not worship the Ishwish or the prophet, who are only human and don't come near to creation, O.M. teaches that we must pay attention to, exercise and bring respect and reverence towards, all life. And this means that we should also respect and revere the Ishwish of the earthly humankind and also the prophet and the prophet's spirit guides. The Ishwish and prophet are due the respect and reverence of the people of the earth. But the creation is due the honor, respect and reverence of the Ishwish, the prophet and the people. Canon 2 says that the Ishwish and the prophet reveal the laws and directives of the creation. They do this in free recognition and fulfillment of the obligation for the fulfillment of the laws and directives of creation. The Ishwish does not rule over humanity and does not use force or coercion. The earth humans should have no gods or idols, but instead only the Ishwish of the earth, over whom the creation in immeasurable greatness is suspended. The Ishwish and prophet are the bringers of the laws and directives to the humankind, and their wishes and advice should be followed and respected because they come from the laws and directives of creation, which should always be adhered to. The human should not abuse the teachings of the Ishwish and the prophet as they are the true knowledge, interpretations and advice of the sevenfold order that springs forth out of the laws and directives of creation. Ishwish-Patha said that the majority of people want peace and freedom and the preservation of life. The majority of people are not big criminals against humanity. It is only a few state-powerful terrorists and their henchmen who exercise terrorism through the power of secret services, through the military and all their supporters. Such is the case in the United States and in Israel. These few totally irresponsible, powerful criminals against humanity, thoughtless and unscrupulous murderers, hurl people into death, need and misery and destruction. It is incomprehensible that the people let this happen and do not rise up against the murderous dictators. Murderous state powers who are chosen by the people are also such dictators. They abuse their power through war, state terrorism, murder and destruction. Scroll to bottom of this article for context of excerpts from Patha. The teaching of the Plerion was apparently also carried through 2,000 years ago by the prophet Jmanul as written down by Judas Iscariot in the text. Talmud Jmanul. A key teaching distinguishing Jmanul's words in the Talmud Jmanul from those in the New Testament book of Matthew concerns the highest law of all, the law of creation. The following is from Talmud Jmanul, chapter 23, the greatest commandment. The greatest commandment. But when the Pharisees heard that Jmanul had silenced the Sadducees, they gathered and deliberated. And one among them, a scribe, tested him by asking, Jmanul, which is the foremost commandment in the law? Jmanul asked in return, whose law are you thinking of? The law of the emperor, or are you thinking of the law of God, or are you thinking of the law of creation? The scribe said, am thinking of the laws of all three. But Jmanul said, the highest directive in the law of creation is this: achieve the wisdom of knowledge, so that you may wisely follow the laws of creation. But the highest commandment of the law of God is this: you shall honor God as the ruler of the three human lineages and obey his laws, for he is their king of wisdom and a good and just counselor. And the highest command of the laws of the emperor is this: you shall be obedient to the emperor, follow his laws and give to him the tithe, because he is the ruler over the people and their guardian and protector. These are the foremost and greatest commandments in the laws of the three, as applied to their categories. But the other directive, equal to the first, is this: you shall consider only creation as omnipotent, for it alone is constant in all things and therein is timeless. The emperor and God are transitory, but creation is eternal. Upon these two directives depend the entire law and the prophets. The laws of God and those of the emperor are human laws and are intended to maintain law and order among the people. But the laws of creation are the laws of life and the spirit and, therefore, they are eternal and constant. True state of earth humanity. He, the earthling, self-appointed, crown of creation, who rules or wants to rule the world and the universe, who has conquered the air, water and fire, has long ago forgotten how to be a true and sincere human being, and how to think, act, and live by pure spiritual standards. Hence he has essentially forgotten how to live as a valuable person in communion with other persons. The message provided by the Plerion, Meyer and his spirit teachers does not echo the mesmerizing and soothing words of many supposed extraterrestrial or New Age channelers or gurus who encourage turning away from any critical judgment of our level of existence on Earth, and who, in fact, suggest or unambiguously state that this critical analysis is the very thing that causes the suffering and corruption.